South Asia, home to the world's largest democracy, is plagued by a persistent scourge: hunger. Over 400 million people in the region are still not able to feed themselves, and half the children under 5 are malnourished. Decades after the Green Revolution swept through the subcontinent, agriculture has not delivered on its promises. Food security remains a distant dream for the rural poor.
It's hard as stone. Look at this. The soil is dead here. Nothing grows. Look over there. Everything is dry.
Now farmers are committing suicide because the crops which they are growing are not sustainable. The accumulated losses are getting increased. The government approach to the issue is very negative. And when the society becomes non-communicable and distress level becomes much more acute, people opt for extremity. So extremity is the solution which has to be tackled with a very specific measures, and that the government is lacking.
In the last decade, 200,000 farmers have taken their lives in India, unable to provide for themselves and their families.
Even the bank have closed in the region. My husband was in debt and he killed himself by swallowing 1 liter of poison.
Well, the biggest challenge to Indian agriculture that is coming up, on one side, Indian agriculture is in a way responsible for feeding 1.2 billion people of this country. And the land is very limited. Water per capita availability is in fact shrinking. So there is a major challenge that unless we raise the yields of different crops, we will not be able to feed our people well.
So the issue of food security here relates to the resilience of food systems and the ability of smallholders to continue to produce under conditions of great uncertainty and increasing climate variability. So between the global markets, which are creating risks for food systems in developing countries, we're also seeing threats to food security from climate, along with the challenges that have always been posed for developing countries of meeting the food security of the poor.
How can South Asia feed its massive population? How can it harness its harsh, unpredictable climate and provide its farmers the necessary tools to better their lives? We travelled across India and Sri Lanka to see how crop diversification, research and technology, sound financial infrastructure and well-adapted public policies can bring food security and help build sustainable livelihoods in rural areas. India has a long tradition of government intervention in agriculture. The state encourages the accumulation of food grain reserves to create a preemptive buffer in the case of a bad monsoon or famine. But due to the lack of relevant infrastructure and efficient distribution systems, the limitations of this policy have been exposed.
In 2002, there was a widespread drought in the country. News reports of starvation deaths began to come in. So the situation became quite alarming. And this was also, ironically, a time when the government of India was sitting over 60 million tons of food grain. If you were to line up the sacks of grain one after the other, it would reach the moon and come back.
These problems persist to this day. Reserves of grain are accumulating and rotting in government godowns, with corrupt intermediaries pocketing their share, leaving those who should benefit in distress.
The government was sending us rations, but they were not reaching us at that time. My 2 daughters started to get weaker and they died of starvation.
We distribute rations to people, but we keep a few kilos each time. I keep some for myself, but most of all I have to distribute it to my boss and all his superiors. Everybody takes their share.
This raises an important question. What is the most efficient strategy to achieve lasting food security on the subcontinent?
Food security means first the food has to be available, so that is the production problem. But then food has to be affordable to the consumers, and that is the economic access question. And that is whether you augment the income of the people or you give them food at a lower price.
Enhancing the economic power of rural people in South Asia is vital in the long run. In India, several government programs are in line with this approach. Launched in 2005, the National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, or NREGA, offers 100 days of work a year to each rural household.
What one could say is that across the country, the program has great potential for reducing poverty, vulnerability, distress. It provides social security to the very poor. It ensures that when they have nothing else coming to them, they can fall back on this.
The more the government can meet people's needs, the more willing people are to support the government. So governments that proactively meet people's needs do succeed, either democratically or in emerging democracies. They avoid conflict, keep a greater level of security, and of course have rapid improvement in living standards. And that really relies on, first of all, a measure of public investment in the core public goods that you would need for macroeconomic stability, education, and so forth, but also safety nets for the very poorest.
In the southern Indian state of Kerala, the NREGA, merged with an existing anti-poverty program, has largely been a success. The women's farming collectives of Kudumbashri lease fallow land prepared by NREGA workers and grow their own crops. From wage labourers, these women have become independent producers.
Now that we work in a group, we earn at least 70,000 rupees each per harvest. We can help each other out because we know we will earn from our crops. For example, we're able to get loans easily from the bank, and a family can borrow within the group to pay for children's education. Then that family can repay the other members without interest.
More than 44,000 such groups now exist in Kerala, improving the lives of 250,000 impoverished women. But the success of the NREGA is not unanimous. Many believe corruption and faulty implementation are widespread, that the scheme is wasteful and has done little to better the lives of rural Indians.
NRG program is not working. There is no employment generation, only a money generation for the politician and contractors. That is the most failure of the state. 90% money in NRHM and the Mahatma Gandhi Narega is being siphoned out openly.
Another measure aiming at alleviating hunger in India has been the subject of much debate recently. The Food Security Bill, which plans on giving highly subsidized wheat and rice to 60% of the population, was cleared by the government last winter.
47% of India's children are malnourished. More than 50% of Indian women are anemic. 836 million people live on less than 20 rupees a day.
But the bill places a heavy burden on India's public deficit at a time when the economy is slowing down.
Critics of the bill say it depends heavily on a leaky public distribution system, while others believe that India simply cannot afford the cost of the bill.
Many argue that the bill is a short-term fix. An investment in research, technology, and in training is the key to a healthy agricultural sector.
Productivity can be raised if you are investing good in agriculture. And government lately has been investing in a big way towards irrigation, towards agriculture R&D, towards subsidizing fertilizers. So this is the technology aspect of raising yields. And so much so that 10 years back, the investment in agriculture, which used to be less than 10% of agriculture GDP, today it is 20% of agriculture GDP.
In the central Indian state of Maharashtra, one of South Asia's most successful hybrid seed companies, Mahiko, is on a mission to bring a smile to farmers' faces. Founded in 1962, the company has become a regional leader in agribusiness research and development. Chemical solutions, microorganisms, and sample studies are part of everyday life at Mahiko's research center. In these labs, scientists are hard at work to produce stronger, more productive varieties for a wide range of crops. A hybrid is the cross between two parental lines of a seed. But what exactly are its advantages?
Number one, you have a very uniform crop when you have the right combination of parents. You have high yield, you may have disease resistance and other good traits that the farmers or the market looks for. Our goal, of course, is to get the best product to the farmer at what is a reasonable cost which covers our investment.
Better yields, higher productivity per acre. Hybrid seeds for crops such as maize, millet, and sorghum have played a major role in boosting agricultural outputs and improving the quality of life in India's rural areas.
When you travel across the country, you will find, farmer's livelihood has changed because of planting, good improved cultivars of various crops, rice, sorghum. Farmers have moved to more of hybrids. Farmers have used better varieties.
You can see the difference with regular seeds. That is the reason that I am using these. We are using 3.5 bags of seeds to get 20 bags of crop worth 20,000 rupees. The quality of the corn is very good. I'm happy with my production and so is my family. I invested the extra money I earned in my land, plowing and installing a motor at the water well. Now we can use the water more efficiently for farming, because without water we cannot farm.
If you go back to the 60s and 70s, India harvested only about 400 kilograms per hectare of millets in the country. Today we have reached close to 1,000 kilograms per hectare of yield. That has improved a lot.
In Uttarakhand, a couple of thousand kilometers to the north, the Navdanya farm advocates an alternative approach to crop diversity. Founded by environmentalist Vandana Shiva, it is running a successful seed conservation program.
Nature works through diversity, because it's only in diversity you have a give and take. If I am identical to you, there's nothing you can give me. There's nothing I can give you. But if I am a wheat crop and I'm growing with a chickpea, the chickpea can give me nitrogen and the wheat can give me the straw. And together we can create a permanent renewal of fertility.
Navdanya's organic farm, spread over 20 acres, has one main goal: to support local farmers by conserving indigenous crop and plant varieties, making them available through direct marketing. This return to a more traditional way of farming has a growing number of followers. Ajit and his family have been working with Navdanya for almost 2 decades. For them, organic farming has provided a steady, rising source of income.
Seed is really important for us. You see, that is why I'm cleaning it and picking it. If the seed is good, the crop will be good.
1996 से organic का खेती कर रहे हैं.
I've been working here since 1996. Before, in the beginning, I didn't know about Navdanya, but then I joined their training program. My father is also a member, and now we're able to eat, we're in good health, and we're able to earn well.
While acquiring and maintaining good seeds is essential, there is another major concern for farmers living in rain-fed areas: volatile climatic conditions. Droughts and floods can have a devastating effect on farmers' livelihoods. In neighboring Sri Lanka, the situation exemplifies the challenges faced by the rest of the region.
In Sri Lanka, the community always depending on the farming, so that if one season they lost the cultivations, so actually that the impact of their family on economy, it's very high. So that's why farmer needs anyhow insurance scheme for their cultivation.
Near the city of Kandy, in the country's heartland, the Sanasa Development Bank is offering paddy farmers in the region a chance to secure their investments. Since 2009, the bank has promoted index-based weather insurance.
So the farmer should understand sometime that the weather changes should make losses on their cultivations, and also that it is related to some index. So this combination and this correlations should understand the farmers. So this is a task of awareness actually.
A task that Ravi and the Sanasa Bank are actively engaged in. Meetings are organized on a regular basis near villages to explain the intricacies of weather insurance, a new concept for most farmers here.
In the beginning, I didn't understand what it was for. But then there was a drought that resulted in the loss of crops. I realized that those who were being insured were being compensated. This experience made me understand that weather insurance could be beneficial to me.
The system depends on one crucial tool: a weather station located in a 15-kilometer radius of the fields. At the moment, Sanasa is gathering data from just 25 of the 400 existing stations in Sri Lanka, but the wind is in its sails. The bank has recently partnered with institutions like the World Bank to launch a number of projects for 15,000 paddy and tea farmers. Access to affordable credit and loans, let alone insurance, is still difficult in most parts of the subcontinent. Many farmers have no choice but to borrow from private moneylenders at exorbitant rates, leaving them in a deadly spiral of debt. In the district of Wardha, in eastern Maharashtra, the local banking sector is helping farmers adopt an innovative strategy: shade net farming. This greenhouse belongs to Sanjay, who has recently decided to experiment with horticulture. He's growing flowers, which have increased his income many times over.
I decided to go into high-tech agriculture and to use these poly houses and shade net houses. I went to see the Bank of India and they convinced me to take a loan. It has paid off well. I have more than double my income. High-tech agriculture is the solution because of fragmentation of land, but it should go hand in hand with traditional farming. Today, more than 500 farmers have visited my farm.
Ramesh has opted for capsicum. He too was approached by the Bank of India, who convinced him to try something new. For this former cotton farmer, the shift has more than paid off.
My social status has increased. Before I cultivated well-irrigated cotton, which gave me a return of not more than 500 rupees a day. In contrast, I cultivated capsicum in a half-acre shade net, and now I pocket a minimum of 4,000 rupees a day, something I never seen in my life. I'm now planning to sell in markets in big cities.
From 5 shade nets in 2009, Wardha district now has close to 60. This farming technique is growing in popularity thanks to the bank's sound credit plan, which supports the farmer in every step of his project.
We don't finance only. We see that the project should be successful at grassroots level, so that encouragement to other farmers will be there. And now results are on. Number of farmers are approaching bank branches for development of such shed nets and poly houses in the area.
Initiatives like the shade nets of Wardha, which maximize land usage, are still scarce in South Asia. Despite high crop prices, the returns of farmers in India are declining because of the rising cost of cultivation. Massive farmer protests against land acquisitions for infrastructure and urbanization projects have erupted in recent years across India. A majority of landowners are simply looking for higher compensation. Unable to invest in technology, marginal farmers are eager to sell their land as agriculture is no longer profitable for them. The agricultural sector in South Asia is rapidly evolving. Farmers today must adapt to these changes in order to create new possibilities for future generations in rural areas.
Over time, the share of agriculture in GDP is going down, and that will continue. But the speed at which people have to come out of agriculture for non-agriculture sector jobs, that has been somewhat a slower process. They are coming out, and that is in line with the development process. We would like it to be faster. People have to get out of agriculture faster because the productivity in the non-agriculture sector in most of the cases will be higher than what it would be in agriculture. But to move it out to high productivity jobs, they need good education. That's how the process enables them to get better jobs in the Secondly, the non-agriculture sector has to expand at a much faster pace. It will be a more vibrant agriculture with lesser people. Average holding size may start increasing. So people have to move out of agriculture.
Agricultural success is needed to get you out of agriculture. And the more successful in agriculture you are, the faster you move out of agriculture. Agriculture is like auto repair. It's something that you've got to do occasionally, and if you do it badly, you're going to have to do it again and keep doing it, and you'll get stuck with it. So it's like auto repair. If you do it well, you can move on and be on the highway and go do other things. But if you do it badly, you're going to have to go back to the garage. So agriculture is like that. You'd like to do it well so that you can move on.
Facilitating diversification, technology, and access to credit, helping farmers hedge risks and adopt more secure sources of income. These measures are the building blocks to sustainable agriculture. In South Asia, they must be combined with a strong, efficient public policy framework in order to guarantee food security for the region.